Do you switch between the belief of the small me and the will me, if that makes sense? Do you
Do
still
I?
have- Yeah, you. So, do you still have this?
No,
where
I
you believe-
have transcended all.
and I guess why do I ask that question?
Yeah, why do you ask this
I
question?
guess
Would you like me to
point
say
you get
yes,
to.
and then you could.
Then I should be there, you know. But I don't know. I didn't know what you said.
No, I certainly
You always
haven't.
have these challenges, you know, that it's
Yeah.
always that it's.
I certainly do. I can't speak for other
Yeah.
people, but I don't. Something has softened. It's not like sometimes I'm this separate self and sometimes I'm not. It's more. The background of presence is almost always available, except when Rupert. So even in the midst of a contraction, of let's say a sadness or a frustration, I don't think I'm buying the illusion of separation 100% at that moment. There's still a bit of the truth that trickles through, and therefore it's like a little opening that can widen as soon as I realize I'm
So it's
caught.
always that sort of dance, yeah, between.
It's still a dance for sure, but it's not here and there. It's not this kind of a dance. It's
Yeah.
more like this kind of a dance. There's more of a fluidity between, and I think that's probably the way it goes for all of us. And then sometimes more extended periods where it's peaceful, and sometimes extended periods where. But I'm a girl, you know. Girls we don't like peace too much. What's your experience, team? Switch.
Well,
Flip that.
yeah, well, switches, as I said before, I find that the belief is still there of the separate self, and the belief is not at times.
Yeah, but
depending.
that's how it goes. It takes time. The belief is like a stone that you need to turn over, and that it will take many shapes.
But then I think about a goal, I guess that's agenda, yeah.
Well, no, but it's the goal. Your goal is the truth. It's what you love the most. It's what you know already. You're into it. So that goal is fine. Go for it, 100%. It's when you're in a situation of resistance. Then that agenda, the resistance is an agenda. It's saying I want it to be different. That resistance needs to be seen for what it is in the now. Otherwise, it's hijacking you. It's hijacking awareness. It's a me feeling. Do you see what I'm saying? But going for the truth and wanting more, to feel more the truth of what you are. That's not an agenda. That's very innocent and it's very innocent. So distinguish the innocent agenda versus the end gaining for the separate self agenda. That would be the difference. Yeah. I think they're quite easy to distinguish. One is free and light, the other one's like, I need to get rid of this fucking resistance right now.
So, I was just going on from that, I get really grumpy sometimes, and like this morning, for instance, and I'm very aware of where I'm at and what's going on, but this morning I was just thinking, I want to be somebody else, I don't want to be me anymore, you know, and I really felt like that. I'm sick of being me, it stinks, I just want to be somebody else, because I was in quite a negative space, yeah. So I know, I can see all that's going on, and I've got the awareness, I know I'm causing myself suffering, you know, and it's a separate self. But I can't do anything about it with my mind, other than be aware of it. So, what actually changed it for me so that when I came here, I was beaming when I came in through the door, was because I had to walk from Wolvercote along this beautiful road, with all the flooding and the light and just the exercise and the sounds of the birds. And so,
that's right.
That's how things change for me. I can't do it with my mind.
No, nobody can do it with their minds.
But
sometimes you can do it with a process of higher reasoning.
I can't do it with the process.
Well, then don't. Do it the way you can do it.
Yeah.
But what I notice if I think about what happened, so to begin with, you wake up with this quite familiar negative me feeling, which probably has been with you for a long, long time, maybe since childhood.
Yeah.
And so it's just the weather system, that the chronic weather system, like when you live in England, it's always... So it's your England, there, when you wake up and you feel like, grumpy, and then you kind of, that's all you're seeing at that moment. You're quite close to it, you're quite identified with it.
Yes.
And then on your walk with the landscape and the body moves, and so more elements in the landscape. That allows you to somehow, without knowing it, you've taken your identity, you've taken your stand much more closely in your true self, which is aware of many different things. You're not so contracted around this chronic, habitual constellation. But it happens effortlessly because you don't have to guide yourself through a line of reasoning, but you might, like a Rupert Spira kind of.
It would be useful if I could do that.
Yeah. Well, you could.
I've tried.
Well, then if it doesn't work, it's not for everybody. It's fine. But if at the moment of suffering you ask yourself, am I aware? And if that questioning can take you back to the I that is prior to the grumpy you, then the sky behind the clouds, then that might work too. You don't know. Don't rule it out. It might work.
No,
this morning is.
I still try.
But it might be also that you go too quickly. The agenda is I want to get rid of this bloody circumstance in the morning where I feel like I want to be somebody else.
I was indulging this morning. Yes.
No, but I was going to say, let it be. Let this state of affairs be. It's a habit, but let it be. But just contemplate it even more. Feel how it is in your body, and feel this thinking. Wow, look, that thought and that thought, and taste it even more, so that it can come to life. And when things come to life, they move.
Yeah.
That's their nature. When they're crystallized, when a feeling is crystallized, it becomes a belief, a me belief in the body. And when a thought is crystallized, it's a me belief in the mind. So you want things to flow. That's why when you started moving through this landscape with the water and the sky, that nature is great for that.
Yes.
Because nature is completely free of ego. So then we can recognize,
But then I think, am I just distracting myself? By going for a walk. What changes? Yeah, it changes temporarily.
Yeah, but so
what am I learning on a deep? What am I learning on a deeper level? What am I changing on a deeper level?
What you answer that question.
Yeah.
Were you distracting yourself, and what are you learning on a deeper level?
Well, that's a question I have to keep open, I think.
Yeah, because sometimes we might distract ourselves, and sometimes not, and it's very important to know the difference.
Yeah.
And what am I learning on a deeper level? You don't need to objectify the answer to that. If you feel peaceful, open, easy,
that's good.
Yes.
Helpful.
You're not learning it. It's available once again to you. You're unlearning. You're not needing to learn something. We need to unlearn.
Unlearning suffering.
Or superimpose whatever we.
Yeah.
But what you are, you don't need to learn.
Yeah.
No need. The mind doesn't like that, because the mind likes to learn stuff. So that tells us that that we don't need to learn is not a mind thing. It's prior to the mind. It's what you are. It's what gives rise to the mind.
So I'll keep going for walks.
Yeah.
And I'll keep doing stuff.
You probably keep thinking about these things, and you're exploring very actively these days. So
Yes.
you'll find some. The mind will formulate some answers, and you're on the right track.
Mm.